What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production. Comic book reviews. Nifty Nerd news. Heroes versus villains. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, the comics guy. This episode is going to be a real short one because I want to get straight to the interview, guys. No comic book reviews. I'll do a bit of news stuff before we get going, but today we have an awesome interview with Uncle Staple himself, who puts on Staple in Austin. It's great. We had a lot of fun, talked, and just he explained a little more about Staple, how it got started, what it stands for, and all the great stuff that you guys shouldn't miss, not only at the con, but off-site as well. And you can probably hear my son. He's laying with me. He's going to be recording with us. So this is his first episode. My co-host, Hot Rod. Anyway, let's get on to the Nifty Nerd news, and then we'll get on to the interview. Okay, so in movie news, someone posted a tweet about this. Gambit is no longer on the schedule for Fox's movie releases. They had a movie release this year, October 7th, and it hasn't even started filming yet, so that's kind of a push, right? And so a lot of people think that means they're just not going to make it anymore, but other people are just like, well, calm down, you know, because obviously, just because they take it off the release schedule doesn't mean the movie's not going to come out anymore. It just means they have to reevaluate everything. And so that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Other kind of TV movie news. Marvel finally cast their Iron Fist for the Netflix series. It's going to be Finn Jones, who is in, I was going to say Hunger Games. Wrong. Game of Thrones, another type of games. He plays, who's the character in there? I don't know. But Finn Jones is him. He's all right looking. I don't know. Do I see Danny Rand when I look at him? No, not really. So we'll kind of have to see what happens. Now, I don't think Netflix nor Disney has come out and said, like, this is our guy, but everyone else, all the other news things seem to confirm it. Entertainment Weekly confirmed it, but we'll see what happens. A lot of delays trying to get the casting right. We'll see if they did get the casting right. Other movie stuff. So if you were in New York and in the Manhattan subways a couple of weeks back or days back, you would have seen tons of Spaceballs movie posters hinting at an upcoming sequel to it. It says The Schwartz awakens with an even greater helmet. Spaceballs, The Search for More Money, the teaser poster. It's pretty funny stuff, and it's pretty exciting. Spaceballs is probably one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies just because of the source material it's based off and just how much fun. And it was like one of the first Mel Brooks movies I saw, and I really loved it, really digged it. And so it'd be really cool to see a Spaceballs 2, and maybe they'll get everyone back for it. That would be really cool, really funny. Or maybe they'll, tease a whole new cast and have a black guy. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Other kind of movie news. So there's this Star Trek fan film that's coming out. It's gotten a lot of... I'm trying to think. It's getting pretty heated here with them and Paramount. It's called The Prelude to Axanar. It's a fan film. Looks pretty damn good. They've had a couple of different Kickstarter campaigns and raised over $1 million to get this stuff done. And they're still asking for a little bit more to get some of it finished. I've seen the YouTube kind of like teaser of it where they show just what they've done so far. It looks really good. And it's like surprisingly really good. But the problem is Paramount is trying to sue them for copyright infringement. However, they made the case that, well, which copyright are we breaking? Like, which of the 1,000 so-called copyrights you say we're breaking are you breaking? And Paramount's not able to name anything right away. So they're trying to get their legal team together to kind of really, I guess, put in detail the copyrights of Star Trek. Basically, define what Star Trek is, because these people who are making this fan film aren't focusing on any of the characters from the movies or even from the TV show. It's just based in the same universe and at a completely different time period where I don't think any of the previous installments ever covered. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and what kind of precedent it's going to set going forward. Some people have mentioned Star Wars and how they've basically taken all the extended universe and made it no longer canon. So now people who want to do like fan films based on that stuff can, and it's not copyright because it's not canon anymore. It's not Disney's property in a way, I guess you could say it like that. And so it's just interesting to see and kind of scary at the same time. So I'll be keeping my eyes on that and see where the courts fall on this whole fan film things for Star Trek. And then lastly, a little bit of comic news before we get into the review, interview for today. Marvel Comics is reviving their former publishing firm or company. They are reviving Timely Comics, what they were before they became Marvel Comics. It's really cool. Basically what they're doing is, if you've ever read any of the True Believers stuff that's out now where they reprint older titles, that's what they're going to do with the new Timely Comics. It looks like they're going to print books that contain 3 comics, issues 1, 2, and 3 of some of their newer stuff, all new, all different titles, actually. So, I mean, this is fairly recent, like this year and end of last year's stuff, and you're going to get 3 comics for $3. So it's going to be pretty awesome. The initial comics that they have coming out are going to be Invincible Iron Man, all new, all different Avengers, all new Inhumans, Carnage, Daredevil, Drax, Doctor Strange, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, New Avengers, Scarlet Witch, Squadron Supreme, Totally Awesome Hulk, Ultimates, Uncanny Inhumans, Venom, Space Knight, and Web Warriors. Wow, that's a lot. And all of them $3, 3 issues each. And if you're looking to catch up on some comics, now's going to be the time. So that's pretty awesome. And these are all coming out in June is when Timely Comics is going to start. And so that's going to be pretty cool. It's pretty timely, if you ask me. Interesting thing to note with the logo of Timely Comics, they have Captain America's shield that he's going to be using when he comes back. When Steve Rogers becomes young again, he's getting like a new triangular shield, and that's the shield that they're using for their logo. So this is really interesting and really cool. Maybe it will span off where they'll publish newer stuff under Timely Comics instead, and then, keep the 616 and Prime stuff with Marvel. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what to make of it other than basically it's going to be True Believers, just with a different name now, and so that's pretty cool. And I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my wife, Casey, is playing Halo 5 Griff Ball, and instead of focusing on the ball, she's just killing people and getting killed, and she's loving it. Like, Griff Ball is probably her favorite sport because she's really, really good at it. But anyways, guys...
They're, like, ridiculously good. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
These guys are professionals, babe. They're professional Griff Ballers. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking around for this part of the podcast. Up next, like I said, is my interview with Uncle Staple. Had a lot of fun. Go check out Staple, guys. It's this weekend, March 5th and 6th, over in Austin, Texas. Links are on my website. I'll have links on this episode in the details, so you guys can go check that out. Tickets for the weekend are only $15. 2 days, $15. I think it's $10 for the day. Totally saves your money, so you can spend it all on awesome art. There's going to be some great guests there, some awesome artists, but you'll learn more about that in the interview, guys. So before I let you go, please don't forget to follow on Instagram and Twitter at Bry-Fy, Bryfy. You can send emails to bryfypodcast@hotmail.com. Like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Bry-Fy. And then, of course, you can subscribe, like, review, please, over on iTunes. Just Google search Bry-Fy Podcast iTunes, and you can find that right there. Also, there's links on the website. And now my son is tired of me talking and tired of being on the podcast. So with that, Bry-Fy out. But, okay, what do I call you? Do I call you Chris? Do I call you Uncle Staple?
Either one, too.
Either one.
Chris Uncle Staple Nicholas, or Chris a.k.a. Uncle Staple.
Sir Chris Nicholas Staple.
Lord Almighty.
I like that one. That one should stick. That should be on your business card.
So, yeah, you can introduce me as Uncle Staple, and then address me as Chris. So you don't have to acquire the honorific.
Nah, man, I'll just keep this all in here. That's how the introduction goes. It just goes like that, and then we get started. How did the name Uncle Staple come about, man?
So the first year of the show, actually, I did an interview with a writer from the Austin Chronicle, and he put a little write up about it. It came out the Thursday before the Chronicle always comes out on Thursday, so it came out the Thursday before the show, which was nice. And then I guess he was trying to make me into a little character or something. Apparently, I was chain smoking, which I was not chain smoking. And he's a very colorful writer. And then he referred to me as looking like someone's affable uncle who just got out of rehab. It's like, well, that's okay. That's fine. But then, so for about a couple days, people were calling me Uncle Rehab, and then somebody called me Uncle Staple. I was like, that. Let's just take that. Let's roll with that. Yes, I am Uncle Staple. Yes.
That's what you do. You stop it before it gets out of control.
Yeah.
Before you become, Lord and our Savior, Uncle Staple.
Yeah. Uncle Staple stuck, and I accept it. It works.
Yeah. So this year, man, you guys are celebrating your 12th year of doing Staple.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
I mean, how did it all get started? And I mean, before we even go any further, let's tell everyone, like, what is Staple in Austin because there are some people that don't know. Because, like, me and Jesse Jordan, she was on last week. We called it kind of like the best kept secret in Texas.
Yeah, well, trying to get the word out.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, amen. It's Staples, a small press indie comics convention. I call it an independent media expo because it's really, really open to sort of any kind of DIY art or craft that some people want to bring and put out there. The main focus is comics. Our guests we bring in are comics artists for the most part, and that's my personal interest is comics. My personal craft that I have pursued, and that's kind of what got me into it because my friend David Lamplugh and I were self-publishing comics for a while there, and as we were trying to promote and distribute our comics, we met a lot of other people in Austin and around the state that were doing the same thing. In fact, at that time, it was like 2003, 2004, there weren't very many conventions in Texas, and there certainly weren't any that focused on indie comics. If you wanted to go to Indie Comics Festival, you had to go to MoCA in New York, or SPX in Maryland, or Space in Ohio, which I actually got to go to this last summer. I enjoyed it. I've been to MoCA as well. I try to hit these. There's one in Portland, one in San Francisco, Ape in San Francisco. I haven't been to. It's a really big one. But yeah, so essentially, you've got your little mini comic you're selling for $1 or $2, and you got to pay for a plane flight, a hotel, plus your tabling expenses, and you're going to lose your ass. There's no two ways about it. So it was like all the people we'd met around here were putting out cool work. We're like, there's enough talent right here. Let's just clean out the barn and put on a show right here. And so we did. Took about a year to plan the first one because none of us had ever done anything like it before. And I actually, I contacted a few people who contacted a guy in London who was doing a comics show that we had mailed some of our comics to his show because he did a thing at his show where he called it the World's Table, and if anybody who would mail him some comics to London, excuse me, allergies, he'd sell them for you at the show.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
And he would send you the money back. I told him, no, just send me some comics back, from around the world. So that was pretty neat. But then, so I contacted him and I was like, so I'm thinking about doing a thing like you're doing here. How do you do it? He gave me a lot of advice. And then Bob Corby, the guy that runs Space, the show in Columbus, Ohio, gave me a lot of advice as well starting out. And so I was happy I was able to go finally to his show. The London, what was it called? Web and Mini Comics thing doesn't exist anymore, so I'll get to go to that one.
No, that kind of stinks. But it lives on through you now.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, man, 12 years, like, I mean, I know the first couple of years might have been a little bit challenging to get everything, but what's it like now? Like when you're like, okay, guys, we're setting up for Staple.
In some ways, there's parts of it, I've got down to a science, and then there's always new challenges every time. But, I mean, it just, in terms of people signing up for it, every year it just sells out faster and faster. It doesn't seem to be a secret among indie comics creators. They they know about it. So like this year, our table sold out in just a little over a month.
Oh dang!
And then I had like a waiting list with like 35 people on it. So
you ever think about expanding to a larger venue?
I have, but I'm not for reasons.
I feel you on that, man. But and I was checking the guest list, man. You got some really good guests, and I think, even just not just this year, but past years, you've always had some really legit guests. I mean, how do you do it? Like, how do you pull these people and tell them, like, hey, come out here, come talk to people?
Well, we contact them and say, hey, our sponsors will fly you out and put you up. Do you want to come? And
that helps.
That's it. They're not just driving out here on their own dime or anything.
Oh,
yeah. We've gotten really lucky. Most of the people we've invited have agreed to come if their schedules permitted.
Yeah. I think it helps that it's in Austin, a forward-thinking city in Texas.
It's kind of it's a destination city, as they say. People like to come here. It's a fun town.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's a nice central location, Austin, San Antonio. It's pretty easy to travel to, no matter where you're at in Texas. Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of right in the middle of the Golden Triangle.
Oh yeah, or as we like to say, in the heart of Texas.
In the heart of Texas.
Yeah, all day.
Deep in it.
Cowboy boots, 6-shooters, and barbecue. Yeehaw. Oh man, but I mean that's crazy. And like you said, there's just tons of independent creators that know about the show, that are at this show. If they don't have a table, they're just there visiting, they're networking. I mean, you've created such a beautiful environment and such an intimate environment for people to go, not just creators, but people like myself who do podcasts. And well, I guess I'm technically a creator.
Yeah, you're creating something.
Not on the scale that you've created, but I'm trying.
We've had like I say, since we call it an independent media expo, we've had programming in the past where we've had people who do podcasts talk about podcasting, or we've had some folks that did web series come on and just talk about that stuff. So again, it's open to anything that we're trying to promote the spirit of get out there and make your thing. If you have an idea, just do it. That's kind of when I look at the word staple, and we've got it in all capital letters with a big exclamation point. It's the I like to say it's the now I forgot my English. it's a command, if you will. It's a exhortation. Go out, staple, create something, put something together, make it. It's not, Of course, if you've made comics or a zine or whatever, you're familiar with the office product, the staple. Used it, but then it's also just kind of encouraging people to be creative and do their own thing. And then also, like, what does a staple do? What's its function? It connects things, right? So you get stacks of paper that are connected by this humble little piece of metal. Well, that's what the show does. It connects people together.
Man, that's deep, man.
Right?
That or you've been working for the state for way too long.
I have a lot of free time to think about it.
You're just sitting there. Like I was saying, your day job, you're just sitting there and you look at stuff and you're like, oh, wow, this could mean so much more.
That's right.
Oh, man. But you talked about your programming, and I don't know if you did this last year, but one that stuck out to me when I was looking through it was the Patreon panel that you're going to be having.
Yeah, they got in touch with me wanting to sort of help sponsor the show and stuff, and so the way we came up with they could do that is they're giving us some press, some social media shares, and then I invited them out to do a panel about Patreon, and so they're Shane Zachary is actually flying out.
Oh wow!
From their office in San Francisco to moderate it, and then we've got several. Gene Thornton, Isaiah Broussard, Monica Gallagher, and Corey Bing have all been using Patreon for a year or more, and they were already exhibitors that were going to be at the show, so they agreed to speak about their experience. So I think that'll be really interesting for people who are want to know about Patreon and stuff like that. We have had like Sean Wong came out, the guy that does Runners.
Mm-hmm.
Sci-fi comic. He had kickstarted that, and he did a really successful Kickstarter. He basically he's a super smart guy. He like went to MIT and got an architecture degree, and then became a comic book artist instead. It's like, hey mom, hey dad, no. But he did like a PowerPoint presentation. Here's how to do a Kickstarter. So we've talked about that stuff, so I think Patreon is kind of up and coming in that area, and it's particularly popular with people who are doing comics for some reason. So the indie comics artists and stuff like that is a big part of their user base. So they were really excited about coming out and talking to everyone.
Oh yeah. And that's why I got excited. I use Patreon as well, and
nice.
I need to figure out how to get more. It comes down to, I guess, providing even more content on top of what you're already doing that gives people like that bonus for helping out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I don't know. It feels like it came out of nowhere. It took the world by storm. Now everyone has my mom has a Patreon.
Really?
Like it's ridiculous now how crazy it gets. But it's cool, so if people are just coming here thinking they're going to look at zines and just art, they're in for a surprise, man. You guys talk about some pretty legit stuff. You even have a attorney or a lawyer coming.
Yeah, there's Texas Accountants and Lawyers for the Arts is kind of a Texas-based organization, but they have a chapter here in Austin, and they're going to come out and kind of discuss different sort of copyright and intellectual property issues, trademark basics, the variety of sort of legal issues that pertain to artists. They do a lot of work with all kinds of artists, musicians, people in the theater arts, because if you go and you get your art degree or your theater degree or what have you, they don't necessarily give you any business or legal advice in art school. So I really think that should be part of the curriculum. But when people come out and they're like, I have an extraordinary skilled and talented, but I know nothing about the law or accounting. And it's so this organization really helps people learn about that stuff, which is pretty key.
Yeah. It's funny though, like you mentioned that. It's like if you get something in the arts, it's almost like you have to minor in some type of business. That way you can kind of translate it.
Yeah.
It's so insane.
I mean, you have to, nobody's going to do that stuff for you. You have to learn how to do it, and if you haven't had classes or training in it, it's going to be very daunting. It's interesting. A friend of mine quit his job and went to mortuary school to become a mortician. And then he was telling me about the curriculum in mortuary school is really diverse. It's like they teach you mortuary science, obviously, but then they teach you business classes, accounting, and they teach you art because you got to paint up the dead people and make them look all right, stuff like that. And I was like, well, that's really smart,
Bob Ross inspired morticians.
That's right. A little fluffy cloud. I don't know.
Oh man, I've always wondered what kind of people do that kind of thing. Like, it's crazy though.
Weirdos. Yeah, I don't know.
You heard it from Uncle Sable first.
I have a cousin also who does that.
That's crazy. Well, that's pretty cool, man. And what's cool is that you guys do that. You guys offer that opportunity for creators who might not know or just don't have that experience. And I mean, that's what I love so much about Staple. It's like a family. You guys are there not to compete against each other. You're there to help each other and to learn and expand and everything. I mean, I guess ultimately, what's the goal of Staple? Like, to you, in your eyes, what do you see like the big finish line thing for Staple?
Well, it's not so much a finish line. It's just a continual progress, a continual process of like sort of improving and building that community. And that doesn't have to have an end in sight. This community can always get bigger and more inclusive. And this really there to give the artists, the creators, a space to connect with potential fans, and hopefully, from their perspective, have a good time, but then sell some stuff, make some money off their art they make, So, and then for me too, like kind of raising awareness about comics as a medium. Because people think of comics as a genre, they think of dorks in tights fighting each other, but a lot, it's a storytelling medium. You can tell any kind of story with a comic book, and the folks that are for the most out there at Staple have created their own thing and stuff that means something to them,
Yeah. No, man, that's great.
Not that there's anything wrong with dorks and tights fighting each other. Don't get that. I appreciate that as well.
All dorks and tights are welcome.
Please.
Man, that's good though. I mean, that's crazy. Like it's so cool to see something like this, and I mean, we are spreading awareness. I feel like the show grows every year. I feel like more people talk about it here in Houston, and I always try to tell people like, hey, I know you don't want to go to this con that costs like $50. Let me tell you about Staple. Like,
yeah.
Have you heard about Staple?
Well, we've always tried to keep it, inexpensive to attend as well, because, again, I think of the audience that is attending the show. I'm trying to put on a good show for them, but my audience as an organizer, my customer as an organizer, are the exhibitors.
Yeah.
And if I make it hard on them, then they're not going to come back to the show again the next year. So it's like I want to make it inexpensive for people to attend, so they got cash in their pocket. So when they walk down the aisle, they can buy stuff.
Right.
That's always been part of the goal there. It's good. I mean, if you go to like one of those big cons where it's $50 to get in for a day pass or something, or if you get the VIP, it's who knows how much it is.
Oh yeah.
And then you gotta go get your autograph or your 8x10 from some zombie or something, and then that's another $40, $50, $100, and then the poor folks out in the artist alley. If anybody, it's like tumbleweeds down there. If anybody does come down there, they don't buy anything. So it's, those are my people. I don't personally have an interest in like celebrities and stuff, so I don't feel a need to promote that. That's done well enough by other people. So
I'm gonna say every other con tries to put celebrities on there, and it's nice to have this one that focuses more on artists, more on the creators, and like you said, it's so much nicer to have money to spend finally when I go to like cons like this, because I mean you feel it when you go to those big cons. Like you'll look at tables and you'll look and like, wow, this is really nice, but I only got like $13 left, and so you have
I have to buy that $12 hot dog.
Oh, God, man. It sucks because, I mean, you see the look on the artist's face, and you kind of have to look at them like, I like you, but I can't afford you right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that's pretty awesome. And now, where's it? I still have trouble saying the name with the theater hall that it's at. What's it called?
I call it the Marquesa. That's what the owner calls it, Marquesa Hall and Theater.
Okay. So that's like the third different pronunciation I've heard. Call it Harlem.
Yeah. It's if you're around Austin, if you know where the Highland Mall is, it's near that. It's kind of between Highland Mall and I-35. It's a cool venue. Back in the day, it used to be the Lincoln Village Cinema.
Oh, okay.
The building itself was like a cinema where they had 3 screens, and then that went away, and then they renovated it. In 2 of the rooms they kind of flattened the floors out, and that's where we have all the exhibitors set up. And then in the 3rd room is still a theater, 278 seat theater. They added a little stage down front, so it has projection in it. Actually, the Austin Film Society has kind of made that their clubhouse, and they do all their screenings there now.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They put in a Dolby surround system, full digital projection. It's really nice. And so we do all our panels and stuff. We've screened animation in there. This year, I'm super excited, and this is an idea I kind of stole from space, from the Bob Corby show, because they did this there, not in a big theater, but they did live comics readings.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to do that in the theater there. We could have 4 different comics artists lined up. They're going to project their comic book art on the big screen, and they're going to read it, live and do sound effects, and so that should be really cool. I saw that done. Like they did it at the after party at Space there, and I thought it was really neat. And so
it's pretty cool.
I stole that idea. If you find a good idea, steal it.
Don't think of it as stealing. Think of it as just borrowing or enhancing or other positive words.
We have when I went to that show, I made friends with Sophie Goldstein and Carl Antonovich. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And talked them into coming down. They performed at the Space live comics readings, and then Sophie's book, The Oven, has really taken off. She had a book come out on Ad House, and it won 2 Ignatz Awards at SPX this year, and it's getting great reviews. So she's going to read an excerpt from that. Her and Carl will do it together. She does the girl voices, and he does the boy voices and makes sound effects with his mouth. I think they've pre-recorded some stuff too, so that should be cool.
Awesome.
And then Wayne Allen Brenner's local writer for the Chronicle, and he did a little web comic that he and another friend of his are going to perform. And then Zach Taylor, aka Z Bill Taylor, is his pen name now. He told me, who has attended Staple every single year since the very first.
Dang.
One of the elite few who have been here every time, is working on. He got a new book together, and he's going to perform that with voices and things. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope I actually get to attend that one. But the problem with being in charge of everything is you don't get to actually
enjoy it.
I enjoy it, but I don't get to really go to the panels and stuff too much. So
Yeah. I was going to say, you've probably been busy in these weeks leading up to Staple.
yes, sir, very much.
What's it like after it's all said and done? Do you just like sleep for days or?
Later, yeah, good. There's like a couple days of still kind of emotional high from it, and then I just crash. Yeah.
I feel you right there, man. I feel you. That's pretty cool stuff, man. And I guess one of the last things I just wanted is, I mean, for everyone that's coming in, everyone that's bringing their dollars and just excited faces, do you have any kind of advice for people attending Staple?
Yeah, bring a lot of cash. It's cash at the door only. So bring cash to get in, and then bring cash to spend. If you got kids 12 and under, they get in free.
Awesome.
So we always like to encourage the next generation of comics and zine fans, and yeah, just have a good time. Everybody's super friendly, so don't be afraid to talk to anyone. We are doing people who want to learn how to draw. We're doing a Mark Kistler, aka Commander Mark, is doing a 3D drawing tutorial at noon on Saturday there, so that should be good. He used to have a PBS show in the 80s and 90s where he was Commander Mark, and he taught kids how to draw. He had this kind of like Magnum PI hair thing.
Oh, wow.
And he wore a red flight suit with like markers all over it. He's like,
You know,
"Hey kids."
I don't think I ever watched that one, Commander Mark. I watched there was one, what was it called? Pappy Land, I think it was. God, man. There's some crazy art stuff.
I think I was like in college when he was on TV, so I didn't see it. But but people who are about 10 years younger than me, when I posted that, they were flipping out like, "Oh my God, Commander Mark!"
He taught me so much.
They really were. Like even like Facebook friends with Andy Runton, the guy that does Alley.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, "Oh my God, Commander Mark's my hero." He's like, he really influenced a generation of artists. So,
Well, that's some pretty awesome stuff right there, man.
yeah, pretty excited to have him out.
All right, but you guys heard from Uncle Staple, guys. Saturday, Sunday, this weekend, March 5th and 6th, over in Austin at the Marchesa Hall and Theater. Was it Saturday? It's 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday it's 12 to 6, right?
Yeah, noon to 6, a little later start. If we're all nursing or a hangover from the live art show we do at Shangri-La on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Kicks off at 9 p.m. and then we have artists, all the artists from the show come out and can participate and draw art live before your very eyes, which you can then purchase for reasonable prices, and the money goes to benefit KOOP 91.7 Community Radio. So it's a benefit for them, and it's always a really good time. And then if you're here on Friday, be sure at 8 p.m. to go over to Austin Books and Comics for the pre-party meet and greet. which is a nice little casual kickoff to the weekend. It's a lot of fun. Get everybody warmed up. And Tuesday, even, we're having Austin Books is having a special staple edition of their book club. So they're going to discuss Terror Assaulter, One Man War on Terror, which is our guest Benjamin Mara's book, which if you're 18 plus, if you're interested in weird indie comics, you should check that out. It's definitely not for kids, though. Definitely not.
Oh, and there's a few things, but I think it's still fun, and man, it's just great. I'm excited for the show this weekend. Hopefully, I get to make it out for both days. I'm for sure going to make it out for one day, so we'll see how everything goes. But I want to thank you so much, Chris, Uncle Staple, Lord our Savior, for coming on the show, man, talking, have a bit of fun, and just thank you so much for your busy time, because I know you're really busy.
Yeah, I have to get back on it right now.
All right,
thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, dude. And you have a great one.
You too.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.